Welcome to the Militia Gaming Community. I'm Trigger, and these are my Car-Toon Summit results. Let's go! I'm giving away an Xbox Series X to one of my subs this holiday season. Click the giveaway video link in the description or in the top right of this video now to watch the video and enter the giveaway. Just being a sub will not automatically put you in the giveaway. You must officially enter. So go watch that video, enter, and then come back to this one. Good luck. Alright, I just want to start by saying that I'm making this video so that you can see my full summit runs. When I do my summit guide every week, I don't show you a full run because I'm showing you the pro settings and the route that you're going to take and some shortcuts and things like that. But this is my actual full run, so let's take you through some of this. First one is this Central Park Aerobatics. I did not know that you could actually use any plane you want on this. It does not have to be an aerobatic plane. It can be a race plane, which is a huge difference. And I didn't mention that in the summit guide, and I really wish I had because it definitely helped me out. When I was making that summit guide, I couldn't actually finish this event, and as you can see, I'm moving much faster, and my skills on this are not the greatest, right? I'm kind of shaky. I don't really control the plane as well as I should. My movements are not great. But I'm hitting all of these targets, and I'm doing it, I think, and that one I almost missed, but I'm doing it in what I think is a good way. I actually finished this with 15 seconds left, which is more than enough for a decent score. Now, this is not going to get me 100,000, I don't think. I think I scored 80,000. Actually 89,794. So yeah, I didn't score 100,000 on this one, but I'm totally okay with that because my plane is not upgraded at all. Alright, so this slalom was actually pretty easy. I didn't find it too hard, but controlling the boat sometimes is a mess. Even when you go over the jump a little bit, it kind of gets crazy. So like you hit this jump and you kind of lean to the left. No problems though on this particular run, except for I believe I miss a buoy here in just a second. Yeah, this one on the right. I missed that buoy on the right and still just decided to finish the run because, yeah, why not? Let's see what I get on the score. So I ended up with 8,429, which was actually enough for 100,000 points on this particular event. So I just moved on. I didn't even worry about replaying that because I missed the buoy. Now that leaves room for replayability later if my total score was not enough for platinum. Now this escape, if you watched my summit guide, is again really easy. The river is pretty wide here, so I really didn't have any issues. I did make one mistake that I wish I could get back, and it's right after we make this turn here. But I basically didn't turn enough on the left and hit the side of the bankment there. But it didn't really slow me down too much. I probably could have gone an extra 50 or 100 yards, or maybe even a little farther had I not hit that bank. But basically you make the right at that fork and then just continue on. It was really, really easy. I'm surprised that this event was in this particular summit because it's so easy. Boat escapes are really just determined by how fast your boat is. So the faster your boat is, the better, and mine's pretty fast. So anyway, it went pretty smoothly. I don't remember exactly my full score, but it was something in the 6,000 yards range, and I know I got close to 100,000 points for it. This is kind of a standard for me. If I get 100,000 points, I really don't worry about it. I just move on. Now, if it's a street race or something else, I may go back and race it again. Yeah, 6,022. I may go back and race it again, but at this point, 100,000 points on each event is more than enough usually to get into platinum. And this one was 104, so yeah, I'm leaving that and we're moving on to the next one for sure. I just want to complain about one thing before we start this event. Why is there a NASCAR track that goes the opposite way, man? We should be turning left and we're turning right. This is a point that my buddy Steven Militia, who was racing with me in this race, really was mad about. But I did notice in this summit how vibrant the colors were on this race. Like, look at all of the walls and the other cars, and actually my car, everything is super saturated, which I thought was a really cool effect. They did this really nicely, so I'm kind of happy with that. But this race was really boring. In fact, this whole summit was kind of boring. I didn't really like the events. It was a lot of boats and a lot of planes, and then the one time we get to drive a car on pavement was this race here, and it was just a circle. I mean, it was a circle. And then on top of that, the rewards aren't too good, so I just really wasn't too happy about that. I didn't have a whole lot of problems with the circle track. You just kind of go as fast as you can and go around. I'm going to go ahead and let the rest of this play out, and I'll catch you up on the next event. Yeah, I got to speed up the video here a little bit. Steven was a little bit behind me. His car wasn't as leveled as mine, so I just wanted to speed it up. Didn't want you waiting for an extra minute for no reason. But anyway, I got 115,000 on this particular event. It was a 3:39 time. I think anything under 4 minutes would have gotten you something close to 100,000. So yeah, you don't really have to be super fast on that one, but it does help if your touring car is fully leveled. Alright, this next event, the Pacific Coast Everyzon. Everyzon or Everyzon, I don't know. However you say it, you just don't worry about how I say it. I got stuck in these wakes a couple of times here at the beginning, but anyway, this race was pretty straightforward. Just hold down on the left stick so you can trim and go faster, and yeah, just don't hit anything really. The wider angles you take also on these turns, I noticed, was pretty helpful. So this first run, I think I took sort of a cut on this turn here. See, I cut it a little bit, but then I started widening out. I could trim more if you take a wider angle. Seems to be faster on boats. I'm not 100% sure, but it seemed to be. And then of course you nos in the air always. You lose a lot of speed in the air, and if you're nosing in the air, that works way better to keep your speed than it does to not nos in the air and just let the boat slow down. So definitely recommend doing that. So anyway, let this finish, and yeah, we'll move on to the next event. Alright, so on this one I did a minute and 47 seconds, which was enough to get me 111,000 points. I thought that was pretty good. Again, my boat's not fully leveled at this point, so this actually was pretty surprising and good. I'll take that, and I move on to the GBR-1 Marina Del Rey race. So this is an air race, and of course I'm using the same GBR-1 that I was using in the first air race. I always nos on takeoff. The planes are super slow to take off, so that definitely helps. I don't think I mentioned that in the Summit guide, but it definitely helps. Now, I noticed, and this is something that happens over time with flying these planes, is I noticed that when you tilt the plane on its side, it tends to dip down towards the ground. So you have to counter that by hitting the left or right bumper to keep the plane going at a level space, you know, keeping the same altitude without dipping towards the ground. And that really helped me by controlling that. It seems to have really helped my plane times because I end up not making mistakes in terms of the elevation. So you dip it, and then you hit the right bumper on this side, and it'll stay even. And then the other side, you hit the left bumper, and it goes away from the ground. So sort of like counter steering a little bit when drifting. It's kind of the same idea, right? You don't want to get too close to the ground at all, and you don't want to pull the plane too far above the ground either. You want to stay even by countering the dip whenever you turn the plane on its side like that. So I'm starting to learn a lot more about flying planes in this game. I mean, my brain already works with an inverted y-axis, so whenever I play like shooters and things like that, I invert the y-axis. So it's pretty natural for me, but that being said, I think the planes are probably the hardest thing to learn in this game, to be fast at it. You know, anyone can like fly around for fun, but to be fast and go through these gates and hit the correct angle that you need to go through, I think it's pretty tough. So I don't know, it's just something that I feel like I'm going to learn over time and become better at, and then I'll be able to offer more in-depth advice when it comes to planes. I also need to learn the best tuning for these planes. I feel like that's a part of the Summit guide that I'm really struggling with, which is tuning the planes. So anyway, this is something that will improve over time as long as you guys stick with me. And yeah, I think I did a pretty good job on this particular race. I didn't score the highest, but I definitely did under 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which I thought was going to be the mark where I needed to get to in order to have an okay score. You know, I don't remember if I got 100,000. Let's see. I did. So 106. So I did a minute and 59 actually, which was, like I said, less than 2 minutes, which is great. But at 106,000, I'm super happy with that because I'm terrible at the air races. So I just moved on, and the next up would be the monster truck race. This monster truck this is actually not a race. This is a rally raid that you cannot practice with a monster truck. So, you know, these types of events are kind of interesting. It's a little bit of a curveball for you because it's an event that you would normally do with a rally raid vehicle, so you can memorize like the route of the event, or which way you want to take, but until you actually use the vehicle that you're supposed to use, which you can't do until Summit Day, it is a different animal. And this one actually was easier with the monster truck than it was practicing with my little Ford Focus RS. So I think that these types of events are actually kind of nice to have a little bit of an unknown, but it does make making these summit guides a lot harder, because I'm trying to advise you guys on how to actually platinum this event. It's very difficult when I don't even know how the car is going to feel until the day of the summit. So anyway, I thought I'd just share that with you. This was much easier with a monster truck than it was a rally raid vehicle. I feel like the monster truck handled all of the bumps a little bit easier. It caught air a lot less than the rally raid vehicles, made it easier to steer, and even though those are some of the tighter sections of the course, I found it okay to drive through them. It really wasn't too difficult, and I don't think I made very many mistakes on this until the very, very end, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. I made a huge error at the very, very end of the race, and it definitely cost me some time, but I was okay with my score, so I just kind of went with it. Let's go ahead and let this finish out, and yeah, I'll come back to you at the end of this race. This was such a freaking flawless run, other than the fact that this little tree right here just clips my front wheel and costs me at least 5 to 6 seconds, and it pisses me off. I was so mad last night when I did this. I could not believe that I ran into that little tree. I was trying to steer away from it, and I think there was a small bump that like popped up the front end and caused me to just keep veering left, and I wanted to go right just a little bit. I should have just steered right to get away from it. That would have saved me time, but 80,000 points on this. I was not happy. I may go back and do this again. If I can get under 3 minutes and 15 seconds, I wonder if my score would be greatly increased. So we'll see if it's even necessary to do that. I think right now my ending summit score is having me sit pretty nicely, but we'll see. We will see.
3, 2.
Now these hoverboat races are pretty interesting. I got really lucky in a summit a while back where I actually had the reward be a full set of Nitrochemist parts, fully upgraded Nitrochemist parts for the hovercrafts. So I'm set on this, and the Nitrochemist is extremely necessary for these hovercrafts because you need the nitrous to turn. And I mentioned this in my summit guide, you need them to turn more than you need them on the straights. You know, the straights to pick up speed, I mean, it is nice, but I feel like turning with the nitrous is a much, much stronger use of that particular thing. So on this race, it was pretty easy. I mean, there's not a whole lot of trickiness, but I would say one of my pieces of advice that I said in the summit is start wide on a lot of these corners and then cut in towards the center. So like on this one, you kind of cut in towards the wall. It's a cleaner turn, and then of course I hit the wall there, but it's a cleaner turn. It actually makes it easier and not to where you're not gonna like fall into the trees or into the outer edges of that course. So I would say that's probably my main advice for this course, is stay wide and then try to cut it in. And this one I failed to do that, but the other thing is on this jump, I mentioned this in the guide, but on this jump, just don't take the jump. I mean, the jump is just useless. It does not help you. It just slows you down. And that's the case with most of the water type events. The jumps are just horrible for your speed. It definitely slows you down. And in fact, I would go on to say that jumps are probably slowing you down on 90% of the events. I can't really think of an event that a jump is an advantage. So unless it's leading you towards a shortcut, of course. But on these hovercrafts, man, this is a decent race. It's pretty clean. I probably could have went faster, but this was my first run, and I don't think I'm gonna repeat it. I think I had an okay score at the end of this, and we're almost done. We've got a couple more turns, but basically, like I said, if I get 100,000 points in a summit, that's it, man. I'm kind of done. You know, I don't really need to go back and do it again. I don't feel the need to, unless I'm on the verge of being eliminated from platinum. So that's kind of the goal every single time, to try to get 100,000 points. So I think I sped up the video here. Yeah, we sped up the video just to allow Steve and Militia to finish. I know his hovercraft is severely limited. He does not have a full set of parts, so it's pretty tough to get a good time. But yeah, 116,228, so anything around 230, I think you're okay. Even if you go up to 235, I think you'll still end up with 100,000 points on this particular race. So not too bad, really not. Alright, I think this is the last event. This is the Dakota Grasslands dirt race on a monster truck. This one's actually really fun, but towards the end, I had some issues. There's a few bumps that are in one of the hill sections at the end, and we'll take a look at that when we get there. But my suggestion on this is just to get into first place as fast as you can. I mean, that's super key. That first turn is so congested. You're going to lose a ton of time if you can't nos and get into first. I had a lot of fun playing this event, actually. This was one of the ones that feels more like a race, you know, more so than some of the other ones. This one, there's other cars, there's people you're competing against. I felt like this was a more fun event than some of the other ones. It felt very lonely in a lot of the events this summit. So I'm totally curious too, like, what do you guys think of this summit? This was not my favorite summit, and I thought it would be a little more fun than it was, but there was a lot of boats and a lot of planes, and you know, to be honest, I like four wheels on the ground. I also like riding the motorcycles as well, but for the most part, I would prefer to have, you know, all street races or hypercar races, and that's just like the way that I like to play the Crew 2. But I like the monster truck stuff as well. But I'm also, I'm just not a fan of the air races too much, and the boats are okay, but for the most part, I'd much rather be driving a car. So what do you guys think? I mean, leave me some comments. Let me know what you thought of this summit. I'm just curious, you know, how you guys tend to play the Crew 2. I mean, do you use cars more often than boats and planes? Or you guys, you know, you love the air races and you love the aerobatics and, you know, you love the boat races? I don't know. But yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know. I'll go ahead and let this race finish out. You're going to see where I made a mistake coming up here in just a minute. So right here is where it starts to get a little bit bumpy. this hill has a lot of like inconsistencies on it. You can see the car is jumping all around right now. I managed to keep it straight going through here, but up on this hill, watch what happens. Bumpy, bumpy, trying to correct, trying to go left a little, can't, too much turn in the air, missed the checkpoint. So this is super common with monster trucks. You just jump, and then as soon as you're trying to make micro adjustments to your turns, right? And as soon as you finally decide to rip the wheel left, you happen to be in the air at that point, and then the whole car turns and it totally messes up your momentum and the direction that you're going. So this is super frustrating, but it is what it is. This particular race, I did okay. I think I could have done better, but overall, 100,000 points. Like I said, that's my goal. That's the minimum I'm looking for on each event, and that usually equates to a platinum in the entire summit. So let's take a look at the entire thing. Where's my rank? How did I do? And this is just the first night, keep in mind. So I ranked with 1,044,000 points. That actually puts me at 50 overall out of 922 players. That's in the top 10% or close to it. And that's all you need. You really just need to be somewhere near the top 30%. Alright guys, that's it for this one. If you have any questions about this video or any video on my channel, you are welcome to send me a DM on Instagram or Twitter. Also, I'm really curious, this is a brand new type of content for me. This is like mostly gameplay and a little bit of commentary. If you could do me a favor, if you've watched this entire video and you like the video, please let me know in the comments if you like the commentary or if you would just like to see gameplay. I'm not really sure if I'm going to continue this type of content, so I want to see some feedback in the comment section. If this feels unnecessary, if you feel like this is not really entertaining to watch or informative, then let me know as well. I'm open to making changes to this, but I thought it would be interesting to show you my scores on the summit. In a full version, you could see the entire run for each of the events. So anyway, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Trigger out.